and subscribe.
Fight fans, welcome, and today I've got a special guest with me, former pro boxer Chris Truman, who once again, like the first show we done way back at the beginning, is joining me from Starbucks. Chris, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, Darren, thanks for having me on again. It's really good to see you again, and I'm sorry about your dad, mate. I just seen the picture of you two on there, on your profile, and yeah, it's good to chat to you again, mate, and I'm feeling great, mate. Stronger than ever.
Look at them guns, eh? Look at them guns. I wouldn't fancy a whack off one of them, I tell you.
70 kilo now, mate.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play. Thanks for the words as well. We've had a bit of technical trouble. Let's hope this show goes okay. But the reason why I've got you on, obviously, you're a former professional boxer. You know all about weight gains. You know all about weight cuts. And by the look of your guns, you don't know exactly what you're doing. Of course, you're a previous opponent of Conor Benn. You fought him in 2018 at welterweight. This fight, the weekend versus Chris Eubank Jr., is at middleweight, which is 160 pounds. The question I was asking you, what I want to ask you is, it's a bit echoey then. Do you think the narrative of jumping two weight divisions from 147 is going to be a hard task? Now, I say the narrative. He's fought at 147 most of his career, but the last two fights, he's fought at, like, I think it was 150, 154. So it's not so much as a weight gain as what the narrative is. So I've already done a preview show where people have said to me, "Oh, he's not jumping two weight divisions." Technically, he is from what he's usually fighting at, but he has fought a bit heavier since his last two fights. So So do you think it's going to be a hard task for him to get to the 160 and fight a good fight at 160 middleweight?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really follow the boxing no more, but me personally, I think if he's going for 160, Ben, he knows he can do it. He's probably practiced it in the past, and like I say, he's obviously not as older, you can get heavier, so he's probably he might be, making it quite comfortable, because I mean, he wouldn't be stepping in with Chris Eubank Jr. if he had doubts, do you know what I mean? So I think he's probably finding it quite comfortable, and he's got the right people on board, so.
Well, he's 28. He's 28 years of age now as well, and when you was in the gym before and you was training for your fights, me and you spoke off camera the other day. You was always sort of your own nutritionist, wasn't you? Where these guys at their level have got super talented people on board, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I used to go and see a top nutritionist and stuff, and I felt great. And his name was Kane Deetham, and he always used to give me, I'd be eating 6-7 meals a day, but when fight time came, my coaches would want me even, I don't know, it was just a ridiculous weight, because I used to walk around at fight weight anyway, because I'm always training. It was my lifestyle. So, I'd be just drained when it comes to fight time. But we've the likes of Benn and that, like I say, he's got the right people on board, and probably watching him, everything he does every day and that. And, they're probably, they're probably giving him different stuff to what us working life boxers have, you know what I mean? I don't know what they're taking, but they're obviously taking some of that's making them strong.
Plenty of eggs.
Plenty of eggs, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the talk is anyway that Conor Benn is naturally now at 28 years of age.
Yeah.
Bigger than the 147 anyway. So when we say about him making it comfortable, it seems like you know, whether after this fight he'll go back down or whatever, that will be seen. But
Yeah.
there's a £10 rehydration clause for Chris Eubank Jr., which means he can go no bigger than £170 by the weighing time on the day of the fight. When you was boxing,
Yeah.
what time usually was the weigh-in on the day of the fight? Because there's talk that it's going to be 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That maybe seems a bit extreme to me, but obviously I don't know how it
Yeah.
works.
You know, I mean, my last fight was, I think it was about 5 years ago. I think maybe the weighing time the day before could be around could be like 11, 12 o'clock. Like,
Oh, really?
so you have over 24 hours to recover. But if you make the weight right and you got the right nutrition on board, you know, that 24 hours or whatever you're gonna refuel really good. But if you're starving yourself like we used to do, I mean, like, you need a week to recover or two, like, you know what I mean? But like I say, he's got the right people on board. So he knows what he's doing, and I believe that Conor Benn's going to come in. I believe he's going to come in stronger than ever. And yeah, I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. I mean, if he has to, like, you know, lose weight and he feels a little bit weak, that could go against him. Although he's naturally bigger than Conor, you know, because if you know, he's going to be like making himself weaker against someone who's, you know, coming up and being stronger. But,
yeah, I get that. Do you think the £10 rehydration clause will be easy enough to do for Chris Eubank from the weigh-in to the secondary weigh-in? So he can put £10 on effectively. Do you think that'd be?
So after the weigh-in, he can put £10 on, but he's not allowed to put any more on.
Well, what pretty much Eddie Hearn said, or I think someone said about, do you think we're going to have a scale at ringside to weigh him again? So I think it's just by the secondary weigh-in.
Yeah.
Like, he's allowed to put from the first weigh-in to the secondary weigh-in, he's allowed to put £10 on and no more. And if he does, there'll be some kind of big penalty, or possibly the fight was off, but I can't see the money involved.
I think it's unfair for if that's the case for Chris Eubank Jr. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just, if they're going to fight, they're both going fighting at their best. If they both make the weight after the weigh-in, I believe that Chris Eubank Jr. should be able to go to whatever weight he wants. I mean, that's obviously giving Conor the upper hand.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Do you think that more of the favours then he's in Conor Benn's favour? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's with Eddie Hearn as well. They're going to try and get every little bit of favour in you know, on Conor Benn's side. Yeah.
Yeah. And also tonight as well, it looks like, I haven't watched any before, but you know, when I put this out, I haven't watched any of the last press conference this evening. There's talk that it's going to be an 18-foot ring, whereas obviously that's smaller than standard. So do you think, again, like where you say in the favour of you know, the promotion side, which is Eddie Hearn, do you think again that favours Conor Benn?
Yeah, has Conor Benn asked for the smaller ring?
He certainly has. Yeah.
Well, obviously they're trying to get everything on their side, so it gives Conor Benn the best chance of winning. I mean, if Conor, you know, just 100% believes he's going to beat him, then you wouldn't really care what size ring it is, would you? But obviously, Conor's like a come forward fighter. A smaller ring, he's going to be able to get to Chris Eubank Jr. a little bit easier, like, you know. And by saying that he wants a smaller ring, you can probably think that he's going to be coming in for the stoppage.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Like, you know, but the thing for me is, I don't know whether, I think the fights were around when you might have fought him. You might have fought Conor Benn in between Cedric Paynaud 1 and Cedric Paynaud 2. Bear in mind that first fight against Paynaud, remember, he got dropped a couple of times. So, you know, everyone's talking about this power of Conor Benn's and, you know, in his favour. How do we know how Conor Benn's going to be able to take a shot off Chris Eubank? We don't, do we?
Exactly, because I don't believe Conor's been in with anyone like Chris Eubank Jr.
Not at all.
Chris Eubank Jr.'s fought Liam Smith twice, and I mean, Liam Smith, he's a beast, Liam Smith. You know what I mean? He's a beast. Like, I mean, I went up and sparred him. Like, he's a bit heavier than me, but fuck, he can punch really hard, like, you know. And I think he held back on me as well. Like, he was a couple of weights above me, yeah, but you know, I went up to just give him some sparring before he won the British title a while back, and yeah, he can punch really hard, mate.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the difference in class really as regards, you know, Conor Benn has been in with the likes of Chris Algieri and that, and all these sort of like old timers who were sort of past it. But when you look at like who Eubank's been in with, you know, your George Groves, like you say, your Liam Smiths, you know, some great fighters on his regime. So technically, the better boxer for me is Eubank.
Yeah.
I mean, as regard, would you say Eubank's technically better? Yeah.
Yes, mate, and I personally would favour Eubank winning this fight, unless he feels a bit drained at the weight, and you know, putting it back on after. That's the only way, like the only positive way I can see Conor Benn beating him if Eubank struggles with the weight, because it can take a lot out of you, no matter how big you are.
Well, you know more than that. You know more about that than anybody. You've been there. You've done it. Like say, 2018, you was in the ring with Conor Benn. So you're. This is why I got you on the show. You're the man that knows all about weight gains, weight cuts. So you know the fight obviously is happening Saturday. Do you agree with this fight the way it is, with the climbing of weights, rehydration clauses, or do you just see it as a money spinner with the father's history being involved?
Well, it's obviously got a big thing to do with the father's history, or this fight would never ever happen, would it really?
100%, yeah.
Like, if the father's never fought in the past, Conor Benn wouldn't be calling Chris Eubank Jr. out. And it is like a big money-making thing for them, you know, but I don't know, I think it's a little bit, they're trying to make it a bit unfair on Chris Eubank Jr., you know, I do. But
yeah, so stacking it all against him.
Yeah, it's business, isn't it? And Eddie Hearn probably don't give a shit. You know what I mean? He's making loads of money, and you know, that's it.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from, and I'm sure lots of people that'll be watching this will agree with you as well. So, final prediction: if you was going to stick your neck on the line to think who wins and how, what would you say?
Mate, I've got to go with. I'm going with Chris Eubank Jr. But for some reason, I don't know. Like, I've seen Conor Benn lately, and he looks. I don't know if it's like photoshopped and that, but he just looks massive, mate. And you know, like from compared to back in the day, looks massive and looks like a beast himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to favour Chris Eubank Jr., but it could go either way, mate.
It is that type of fight. I totally agree. I've just got a feeling that it could go the rounds, and I think like Eubank will win on points, but I think it'll be a factor of Conor Benn's dangerous for the first 6.
Yeah. And
then I think after that it's going to be a case of Eubank should be able to take over and win the fight on points. I've said this on my previous show. A lot of people think it will be a stoppage either way, but I'm not quite sure it will be. So I'm going to favour Eubank on points.
Yeah. It's gone really quiet again now, mate. But
we're coming to the end anyway. Don't worry.
If you look at Chris Eubank when he whacked the eggs off Conor's head, you seen Conor went flying, didn't he? And he tapped him around the head. So I mean, it shows how strong Eubank is as well.
100%, mate. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, we'll conclude this then. If you're going to lose signal now and it's going quiet, it's a good time to end. But Chris, I really appreciate your time coming on. It's great to hear from you again.
Darren, and it's great to talk to you as well, mate.
Yeah, it's fantastic, mate. And like I say, we go way back. I think when I started my podcast, October, November, you was the first one on. Everyone check that out as well. That's still on my channel, of course.
Yeah.
If everyone can follow me, subscribe to my channel, all the likes, comments, subscriptions are massively appreciated. I think I've had a boost of another 5 or 6 subscriptions today. It really is appreciated from me. Yeah, and Chris, once again, thanks for your time, mate. Really appreciate it. And enjoy your Starbucks.
Cheers, Dan. I've already had my Starbucks, so I just want to say one thing, that
Go
it's
on,
great
mate.
to have you back. It's great to have you back, Darren. Like, before this show started, we was having complications with the network and that, and I seen you really pissed off, like, because you love it that much, mate. So,
Yeah.
I hope you're doing more interviews, and I hope to be back on again in the future, mate.
Definitely, mate. And looking at them guns, I ain't getting pissed
Yeah,
off with you, mate. I can assure you.
I'm
Jesus
still a
Christ.
beast. I'm still a beast, mate.
He's showing them off. All right. Have a great rest of your evening, mate. See you later, Chris.
Cheers, Daz.
Cheers,
See
mate.
you later,
Cheers,
mate.
mate. See you,
Bye-bye.
mate. Bye, bye,
Bye.
bye, bye.